Welcome to Discussing Dad Life, where we break down bullshit so you don't have to. I'm Void, this is No, and let's go.
Welcome everyone to Main Event Mondays. Apologize about last week. I got back into the States late and we trying to play catch up. Didn't have a chance to record anything. But that being said, I hope everyone's doing fantastic. Hope everyone had a great Father's Day. Hope everyone is, just loving life. So before we get started, quick shout out from our sponsor, Candle Time, by candletime.net. Links in the description. 5 cents available, coconut, peach, sea breeze, and lakeshore. Oh, and citronella. Sorry, that was the fifth one. Yep. So give us a check over there. Today, let's talk about the big news, which is the Trump-Biden debates that are going to be going on. I believe it's this Thursday. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it and see if we can. Presidential debate. Oops, sorry guys. I thought I had this already. Maybe a rematch, but the Biden-Trump debate is anything but a rerun. This is written by Steve Contoro and Jeff Zeleny from CNN. It was updated Friday, June 21st. So the historic rematch between Biden and Trump is anything but a rerun in the first presidential debate next week, set to showcase a vastly different set of issues driving the bitter duel for the White House. It feels like an upside-down lifetime ago since the pair last appeared together on a debate stage. The coronavirus pandemic was raging in the fall of 2020, and Trump's chaotic presidency was at the center of it all. I don't know if I would classify his presidency as chaotic, but it was definitely interesting, that's for sure. So Biden's record is now under the microscope in an equal measure, even as he still presents himself as a safer alternative, which I don't agree with. He is not a safer alternative. So in the sequel, an entirely new set of fights have been brewing in the campaign trail and in TV ads that offer a glimpse into at least some of the arguments likely to be aired when the two come face-to-face Thursday on the CNN debate. So it is Thursday. I was correct on that one. I do not believe I'm going. If I can, I would love to live stream it, but I don't believe I'm going to be able to on Thursday night. Unfortunately, I might just have to. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be not anywhere near my house. So voters in Wisconsin this week, Trump delivered a stark warning about the unstable world and his view, an unstable Biden presidency, saying we're going to end up in World War III with this person. He's the worst president ever. I don't disagree with that remark. Biden's presidency has definitely been brewing a lot of tensions internationally and could spark into World War III. Don't necessarily know if that's true or not, but, I could see it happening. He's the worst president ever. I always thought Carter was the worst president ever, but Carter's got to be thanking Biden because Biden has definitely made everything worse. So, and the new Biden ad minces no words about Trump's May conviction on 34 felony counts. This election is between a convicted criminal who's out for only himself and a president who is fighting for your family, the narrator declares in the spot, which is part of the $50 million advertising campaign. Interesting. That's for sure. So let's go ahead and check out what New York Times has to say about this stuff, guys. For Biden and Trump, a debate rematch with even greater risks and rewards. A matchup on Thursday will be the earliest presidential debate in American history, and any potential missteps could linger for weeks or months. By Lisa Lear, Shane Goldmancher, Jonathan Swan, and Maggie Haberman. Sorry if I'm getting your names wrong. Apologize. This was June 23rd, so Sunday. The debate between President Biden and former President Donald J. Trump this week will be a high-stakes moment in the rematch, plunging two presidents into an extraordinarily early confrontation before a divided and angry nation. That is a true statement. We are definitely a divided and angry nation right now. And I don't necessarily know how we can bridge that gap. It used to be like we were all working towards a common goal, and now it seems like there are two distinct Americas or beliefs in what America's opportunities actually are. So it's interesting. For Mr. Biden, interesting that they say Mr. Biden, not President Biden. The debate in Atlanta offers an opportunity to remind voters of the chaos of his predecessor's leadership, his criminal convictions, and to warn of an even darker future should he win a second term. For Mr. Trump, again, weird that they're doing Mr. instead of president, it's a chance to make his case that America has grown more expensive, weaker, and more dangerous under his successor. That is true. Yep. But the face-off on Thursday also poses a significant risk to the two men, both of them the oldest candidates ever to compete in a presidential race. That is a fact. These guys are old. Gosh. Who have been locked in the contentious rivalry defined by the mutual hatred for more than 4 years. That animosity heightens the evening's unpredictability. A notable misstep, a physical stumble, a mental lapse, or a barrage of two personal insults could reverberate for months because of the unusually long period until they meet again for the second debate in September. Interesting. I do find it interesting that Biden's actually agreeing to debate, because the mental cognition that he has is quite apparently bad compared to Trump. So it seems like it's almost a mistake for him to appear with Trump. But, who knows? Whatever. So this is a big inflection point, said Karl Rove, a leading Republican strategist who guided George W. Bush's two successful presidential runs. Can Biden be consistently cognate, causing people to say, well, maybe the older guy is up to it, and Trump's going over sufficiently restrained that people say, you know what, it really is about us, not him. Interesting. The debate will be the earliest in the nation's history, notably different from those familiar to many Americans. Hosted by CNN rather than the nonpartisan commission, it will be simulcast on more than 5 networks without a live audience. That's the part that kind of gets me, is I can't understand why Trump would agree to do this without a live audience. And the reason I say that is because Trump is, in all reality, a comedian. The dude feeds off of the audience. So I'm not sure how his performance is actually going to be and why he would agree to it, knowing, well, I guess maybe he doesn't realize how much he feeds off the audience. So each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer questions, followed by 1-minute rebuttals. In response to the rebuttals, and their microphones will be muted when it's not their turn to speak. Wow. So this is, yeah. The two men are taking strikingly different approaches to their preparation. Mr. Biden hunkered down in it with his aides at Camp David for formal debate sessions, with the part of Mr. Trump expected to be played by Bob Bauer, the president's personal attorney. The former president is taking a looser approach, but is participating in more policy sessions than he held in 2020. Trump's advisors hope that the former president keeps his attentions on the issues that are widely seen as Biden's biggest vulnerabilities, inflation and immigration, and is not baited into exchanges over his false claims about a stolen 2020 election and a justice system he claims is rigged against him. Yeah. If Trump's actually going to do anything in this debate, it needs to be focusing right there on the inflation and immigration. If he gets baited and he goes into these stolen 2020 election claims, and while I don't disagree, it does seem like the justice system is definitely being politicized to target him, to stop him from running. Definitely not a line of that he wants to be on. So let's go ahead and see what CBS has to say. The Biden-Trump debate, an interview for the nation's top job. Presidential campaigns are sometimes compared to a job interview. Voters are the hiring committee. Debates are in-person office visits. But we already know Joe Biden and Donald Trump to learn whether they will protect the Constitution, how they manage a crisis, or whether they have character and temperament. We can look at the records in the office of the job they want. So what is the point of this debate? First, debate showcase the job seekers' performance skills, presidential bearing, warmth, and command. Even though we've seen these two perform, it's a chance that these candidates to reverse the stylistic misimpressions among voters that haven't been paying much attention. Plus, the context changes in a presidency. Ronald Reagan was a well-known incumbent in 1984, but at 73 years old, he was asked about his age. A concerned voters tell posters they have about the 81-year-old Joe Biden. I will not make an age an issue of this campaign, Reagan said. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience. The canned one-liner showed Reagan can navigate the shifting political sentiment he faced in office. On substance, the debate can illuminate not just whether these candidates believe that they have what at the core of these beliefs, circumstances will change at the office. What hard wiring will guide them, what values will guide them as they use the power. Oops, sorry guys. What values will guide them as they use the power they've been given? Will any? Every candidate's nightmare, the gaffe that becomes a story. Like Ford's claim in 1976, there is no Soviet dominion of Eastern Europe, and there never will be under a Ford administration. The Soviets did dominate, or Soviet domination in Eastern Europe. Sorry, wow, dominion. Wow, screwed that one up. The Soviets did dominate Eastern Europe. Ford seemed out of it and repeated himself, insisting on something that was not so. Donald Trump also insists on something that is not so, that he won the 2020 election, which he lost. Not a gaffe, but a lie. Interesting. I don't think Trump actually believes that it's a lie. I believe that he actually believes that that he did win the 2020 election. Not saying he did. I'm just saying I think Trump actually believes that. I don't. So I think this is misrepresenting what is really going on, because something happens, right? You deal with information and you make a best judgment based on that information. And Trump's information tells him that he should have won. So in his mind, he should have won. That's not a lie. That's just misunderstanding all the information, or maybe he has access to information that we don't all have. I don't know. But it's not a gaffe and it's not a lie, but it's definitely a line of questions or a topic that he definitely should not get on, because if he does, he's just going to alienate people, because everyone knows that Biden's been the president since 2020. Well, 2021 when he got inaugurated, and it doesn't really matter what Trump believes in that regard. And so, yeah, he just needs to stop it. So top Republicans in the House and Senate said that the lie led to a violent attempt to block the will of the people. Again, that is not true. It's not a lie. And as far as I know, the House and Republican senators did not say that it led directly to a violent attempt to block the will of the people. There was people that thought and agreed with Trump that the election was stolen, and they tried to protest that. Now, some of those protesters definitely got out of hand. Police were injured and whatnot. So, definitely rises in political tensions. Not good stuff. So Trump still tells this lie. Again, it's not a lie. Trump digs on election lies, right? So they just link some stuff, whatever. I'm not going to read into it because we all know what's going on there. Can you have a debate built on reason to measure reason when a candidate insists on something beyond reason? Again, he's not insisting on anything beyond reason. He's insisting that he should have won, that his perception of it and what he is seeing shows that he won. It's not unreasonable. I mean, Hillary Clinton's been denying the loss in 2016 for how long? So there's a bunch of stuff. Apologize, guys. My phone started ringing. I thought I put it on silent. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. The analogy collapse is not in an interview anymore, but a hostile takeover where the majority of the hiring committee is pushed out of the room. No, I don't think that's accurate, guys. But, whatever. So, The Hill. Let's see what The Hill has to say. This is Republicans urge Trump. Whoa. What's going on here, guys? Republicans urge Trump to avoid 2020 debate pitfalls. Don't take the bait. Senate Republicans are urging former President Trump to avoid a repeat in his misaligned debate performance against Biden 4 years ago. When the two meet on stage Thursday for a pivotal moment in their rematch. Trump's 2020 debate performance is remembered as for interruptions, badgering, and running roughshod over Biden and debate moderator Chris Wallace, as well as his infamous response to the Proud Boys should stand back and stand by. Again, so he was... I hate having to defend Trump. Everyone thinks that I like Trump because I defend the guy. I don't necessarily dislike Trump, but I don't necessarily care for Trump. I think there would have been better candidates, such as Vivek Ramaswamy. Libertarian Party is now out for me because they nominated an extreme leftist. I mean, insanely extreme leftist. Yes, there was a bunch of interruptions. Trump is an interrupter. He likes to, whatever. He's a badgerer. None of that stuff is wrong. Where I think is wrong is he did not run roughshod over Biden. Biden just was not politically savvy enough to defend himself. And Chris Wallace is a tool. So, whatever. As well as his infamous response to the Proud Boys should stand back and stand by. Again, this one's interesting because I remember watching this and I remember him saying stand back and stand by, and the way I took that was he was they were trying to infer that the Proud Boys are taking orders from Donald Trump, and that's not necessarily true. Well, it's not true at all. But Trump can't just sit there and say like, oh, I denounce all these guys because the left doesn't like them. But the Proud Boys, not necessarily a bad group, but not necessarily a great group either. I don't know how to explain it. Like, but the stand back and stand by just means like, hey, just chill out. That's all he's trying to say in that. That's how I took it. Just chill out. So Republicans are urging him to tone it down in the name of the presidential success. Don't take the bait. John Thune, the number 2 Senate Republican who is running to become leader next year, demeanor is important, tone's important. So this is one thing that I wish I was better at. I've noticed, and I've been given feedback that my tone sometimes comes across very wrong. Like, I remember getting upset because of some stuff going on and taking forever. And I had like good news that I was trying to express, and my tone just came across like very negative, like it was bad. So, it's... they're not wrong, especially when this kind of ties into some of the Wellspring Wednesdays. This ties into a lot of the differences between men and women, whereas men tend to speak very directly. What we say is what we mean, and that's how we interpret things as well, for the most part, most men. But where women generally, keep in mind, this is all in generalities. This is not specific to any person. This is just generalities. Inflections and tones are super important. That they convey as much as what you're actually saying, sometimes more. So it definitely different in communication styles between the sexes. And a lot of voters in America are women. So making sure that your demeanor is on point and making sure your tone's on point is very, very important. I don't think John Thune is wrong. And don't think that tone and demeanor don't mean anything to men as well. It's not as large of a factor, it seems like. So I think you can be decisive and strong as he is, but I think in many ways you want to give President Biden as much rope as possible, because I don't think he's probably going to play well for himself. That's interesting. And I don't think he's wrong on that. Again, I really don't think he's wrong on that, because Biden does not have a good record as president. So if you can give him as much rope, he is definitely not going to come out looking great. This is why you play them, right? The debates are going to be important as the hours are. If he continued, if he comes in there and just shows strength and leadership and maintains a calm demeanor and lets Biden go, it goes well for him. You know what, John Thune? I think you're spot on this one. That's kind of basically what I'm trying to say with Trump, is he just needs to go in there and be the comedian self that he has, but don't go over the top. Just chill out. And if he chills out, Biden's going to hang himself, basically. He does not have a great record to stand on. This week's debate, which is scheduled ahead of both national conventions for the first time since the advent of televised debates in 1960, is set to become one of the first major moments of the general election battle. It is interesting that it is being held before either of the conventions, but we already know that Biden and Trump are going to be the nominees for each of the parties. Again, I think it's stupid that we're having both these guys in there. It would be better off getting some other, but whatever. It could be a turning point in the race in which Biden has struggled to put Trump away in battleground state polls. But as failed candidates of the past can attest, a campaign can change with one bad night. Just as Trump's did 4 years ago, Republicans are hopeful the shoe will be on the other foot this go around. So the main focus is going to be, is Biden capable? Lindsey Graham, a top Trump ally in the upper chamber. Lindsey Graham is an interesting character. That's him, just in case no one knows who he is. He's an interesting character because he's a war hawk, definitely. And he's done some good things, but dang, man, he is bad. So if I were President Trump, I would talk about right track, wrong track. He continued. I don't think he needs to be an overly aggressive. He just make the case that if you think you're on the wrong track, you're right. That's a very simple way of putting it, because we are on the wrong track. America is definitely on the wrong track. And since America's on the wrong track, we have a lot of international issues that we're facing. The international community is having a lot of issues that they're facing. So, yeah, it's dumb. So Trump immediately agreed to Thursday's debate on CNN studios in Atlanta after saying for months he wanted as many debates as possible against Biden. His campaign has spent weeks lowering expectation around Biden's performance, portraying the president as weak, ailing, and mentally incompetent. I don't think you really have to do anything to portray that. I mean, he just comes across as weak, ailing, and mentally incompetent. I feel so bad for that guy. Like, we need to, as Americans, we need to take a look at who is propping up Biden to do these runs, including his wife, and start actually looking at them for elder abuse. This is insane that we're putting Biden, or we're allowing Biden to go through this. He is an ailing, sick old man. So Trump's team is also preparing for the possibility that Biden exceeds expectations, laying the foundation to dismiss the performance as a charade, just as it did after Biden's State of the Union address early March. But if you watch that State of the Union address, you could tell when he started fading. You could tell that he was hopped up on some medications or something just to keep him cognitive. And it started going downhill pretty fast. It seemed like, not pretty fast, but, about halfway through, you could tell that there was definitely a change in his demeanor. So if you think you're going to be looking for other cues in the term of is President Biden answer capable of answering all the questions relevantly, and is President Trump within the rails? Shelley Moore Capito said, who knows? That's why I think the debate presents all sorts of questions. Biden departed for Camp David on Thursday to take part in days of extensive debate prep, a process Trump has ensured since he's launched his 2016 presidential campaign. The importance of Thursday, however, is not lost among Trump supporters who are well aware of what happened 4 years ago. Not only was Trump uber aggressive and barely allowed Biden to get a word in edgewise, but he also visibly sweating a fact that was compounded days later when he tested positive for COVID-19. Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio, who's reportedly on Trump's shortlist to become his running mate. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was on the shortlist. Acknowledge the stakes, but maintain confidence that the former president will see a favorable outcome. I think it's going to be a good night, but it's very important. But it's a very important night, Vance said. He just has to make his case to the American people. There's a very clear contrast between how things were under him and how things are under Biden. He just, I think, has to hit the theme, and that's all we'll do. Other Trump supporters are bullish that he will flip the script from 2020. Trump's going to kick his blank. Yeah, Ted Cruz from Texas said, you can quote me on that. Oh, so he's another interesting character because Cruz, oh man, there are so many interesting characters in our political field, especially on the Republican side, because they seem to be decent, but at the same time, they do some stupid crap. And So last article we're going to hit is political. And like I said, we are hyper-focusing on the Trump-Biden debate that is going on this week. So we're going to finish it off with this. And yeah. So the guy playing Trump in Biden's debate prep has some thoughts. So Joe Biden has fled Washington for Camp David to prepare next week's debate against Donald Trump. As he boarded Air Force One yesterday, Biden gave a big thumbs up when he asked how debate prep was going. So this was written on 6/22. So Saturday. So on Friday when he left. Debate camp is shrouded in secrecy, but I recently sat down with one of the few people who knows its inner workings in an interview for the Playbook Deep Dive podcast. Bob Bowers, President Biden's personal attorney, has a long career as one of the Democrats' party's top campaign lawyers, but these days he may be the best known for playing Trump during Biden's mock debate sessions. In a new book, The Unraveling, Reflections on Politics Without Ethics and Democracy in Crisis, Bauer writes about that process 4 years ago when his job was to attack and impugn Biden in a way he expected that Trump would on stage. Bauer is presumed by Biden aides to be reprising his Trump role over the coming days, though because of the code of the Omerta among debate camp participants, Bauer declined to confirm his participation. In the course of our conversation, we also discussed his candid thoughts on Robert Hur's investigation into Biden, how the presidency itself is badly in need of reform, and whether or not Thursday's CNN debate, the first to be set up independently by the two opposing campaigns, will be a step forward or backward in electoral history. So this is interesting. I like this part right here. How the presidency itself is in badly need of reform. 100% agree. I think where we're going to disagree on what we think those reforms are going to be, but I 100% agree. It's just like the leftists. I understand leftists. I understand like they're wanting to reform certain things. 100% agree with you. Where I disagree with them though is on what those reforms should be. Right. So I'd like to get to the point where we all recognize that, hey, we could do better here. Now let's calmly talk about what reforms we actually need. And that's where the divide really comes into play. Oh, yeah. So this is just a question and answer, but interesting. I'm wondering what this guy's thoughts are. I'm going to keep this article up and definitely go into it. So let's switch back. Perfect. Okay. So let's recap this because this is big. This is kind of historic. Conventions have not happened. They are not slated to be the committee, or the conventions have not actually selected them. What is interesting is everyone knows that they are the nominees. So with everyone knowing that the nominees, they've agreed to start doing debates. And CNN is hosting it in Atlanta Thursday night. So let's everyone should, if you guys are interested in it, let's tune in and actually see. I'm hoping Biden comes out and actually does strong. I don't think he will. I think he is going to show America why he is weak. I'd also like to see if Donald Trump actually has learned anything and calms down a little bit. I've always thought that Ben Shapiro, I think, has it right a lot in how he says. If someone were to take his Twitter away or put a filter between Trump and what goes out to the public, it would be way better off for Trump. So, yeah, nonetheless, Thursday, if I can, I'm going to try live streaming it and watching it with you, pausing it and giving my thoughts on some of the takeaways. I doubt I'm going to be able to do that. If I can, I definitely will. So, before we close out, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Moo, who is not with me today, but she owns Candle Time. She wanted to do a hobby making candles. It's fun. I help her with it. I took the opportunity to try showing her how to figure out costs of goods, coming up with a margin, how, all that fun stuff. Business-wise, I want her to be prepared in life, So buycandletime.net. We have 5 cents available: citronella, coconut, peach, lakeshore, and sea breeze. So check us out. Links in the description. Until Wednesday, guys, I hope everyone has a great time. If not, I apologize. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. Nothing issue. And till next time. Thank you for watching. Please give us a like, share, and subscribe. Till then, peace.